And nobody came on yet. Hello, 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 stranger. How you doing this evening? Got a full belly. Still saying there's an error. I don't know why. And ain't letting you come on. I'm gonna try to post it on Facebook and see what let you do it on Facebook.
Oh, hey, it worked.
I think I am now.
Huh.
Sound like one. Yeah, he's in.
Yep.
I ain't heard that voice in months of Sundays.
Yeah. How's it going, man?
I'm doing okay.
That's good.
Sitting up here breeding fishes.
Yeah. Like I said earlier, I'm kind of shocked that these guys bred.
I know.
Especially like because I didn't notice anything, and then all of a sudden I have babies. And I'm like, whoa, okay.
Hey, where these babies come from?
Right? Yeah,
I
but
got
I decided whenever I moved this tank back over here that I was going to do bare bottom on not
Yeah.
having substrate. So I was thinking, like, 'cause I did a water change earlier today. I was just like, well, maybe I should add substrate, just like a little bit, just to kind of like layer it out. And I was looking down and I was kind of analyzing the bottom of the tank a bit, and all of a sudden I saw 6 babies. I was like, whoa, no way.
That's what happens.
I know, right?
Didn't the Pregos ever breed I sent you?
Not yet, man. I don't know what the deal is. They don't like
What?
me. I know. I was shocked by that too. But yeah, they don't like me for some reason. That's what I
You gotta
found
get
out.
used to the water.
Yeah. You have hard or soft water up there.
Our water is different from your water.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, my water usually comes out at a solid 8.2 pH.
My water is different from your water.
Hmm.
That's the difference.
Yeah. Not only that, I try to keep most of the tanks around like I don't know, like 76 to 80 degrees, just depending on the fish and whatnot. The cichlids I keep at about 77, but I mean for the most part, all the tanks usually stay between 76 and 80. I don't know if that's a difference from yours or not.
Mine would be hotter.
Oh, it has to be hotter.
My water is hotter because my apartment's always hot.
Oh, okay. You got heaters running in there with
No,
your.
my apartment is always hot because of the pipes. They heat up the third and the fourth floor.
Oh, okay, okay. Yeah, heat rises. So,
Heat rises.
yeah, that's what they say.
And it's always hot in here.
Yeah.
Where? Oh, I bet if I check it right now, it's probably I don't even got the heat on. It's gonna say it's 80 degrees in here,
Jesus,
and
man.
I got a fan on.
Yeah, I would have the AC pumping or something. That's just my own personal preference, though. I've gotta have it like at least like 60, 67, 68 degrees.
I got pluckers now. Don't even have a heater on them. It's so hot in here.
That's wild, man. Oh yeah,
All these placos in a jar.
yeah,
But that's me. I just believe placos.
yeah, man. You do a really good job of it too. You got tons of them constantly.
I stopped breeding them.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wasn't really in good for market, huh?
Nobody want the browns.
Yeah, yeah, I can see that. Like I said earlier, they're very common. So I mean,
Mm-mm.
it's kind of the shot right there.
I ain't breeding them no more unless I can find somebody who will get them on out the house.
Yeah, I don't blame you. You got to almost make a deal with the fish store. And even at that rate, I still don't even think they would give you a good deal because
No,
they
they
got
won't.
yeah, they got to make a profit too.
Mm-hmm. I got some. Them rhinos finally starting to get bigger. Can't wait till they get big enough to start breeding.
Oh yeah.
Then if I can get them to breed more and more, and I'd be get them reds.
Right.
That's when they people on the side by looking at me when I get bread started going crazy up in here.
Yeah. Yeah. They'll definitely be all over it. What? Yeah, I would say start doing those and then like move up and maybe go to like uh Starlights or something. You know, like people go
Mm,
crazy over that.
yeah.
And then you can sell those guys for a good amount, and people still go crazy for them.
Hmm.
You just got to gauge on like how much you're paying on bringing them in and selling them out. You know,
Yeah, no.
that's the hard part.
Lonnie finally get some rest. She finished cooking all that food. Now she gotta find room in the house to put it all up.
Around, just put it up.
Half of it, she probably just gonna freeze it.
No, my papa's getting half of it.
Oh, okay then.
Molly, where's your thing with papa's stuff in it? Over there to the side of the stove. It's just a little bitty skillet. It's got necks and gizzards and stuff in it.
Look at that vine. It look good over there. No, I mailed a vine to her. I had you know me. I threw it in a glass container. I think in the beginning of spring, and I threw it over there. I just put fish water in it.
Yeah.
And I didn't think nothing else about it.
Hey, it works, man. Right?
Now it done grew like crazy. I
That's
went over there and I got it out.
Here it is.
She said,
yeah,
"I
man.
want that. Mail that to me."
Yeah, I'm telling you that fish water has like really good nutrients in it for plants and whatnot. But
That's that pleco water. That's that
oh yeah,
disgusting pleco water that grew that plant like that.
yeah, and that's the thing that's crazy is like what from what I've noticed, you know, like the dirtier the fish water, the better the nutrients for the plants, believe it or not.
Hmm. You get the nastiest, dirtiest water, and you water your plants with it.
Yep.
The black water. Somebody on here taking notes. That's how your
Yeah.
plants look so good.
Yeah.
Now, the other ones are still trying to decide if they want to come back or not.
Oh boy. They
They,
didn't have no roots to it.
they didn't ship well, so they're trying to decide.
Oh well.
For the most part, though, it looks good. It looks
The vine
really good.
was the most important thing.
Yeah,
This
yeah.
one here, they're trying, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah, it'll
The
get there.
peace lily. Oh no.
Mm-hmm.
I ain't, it done died. It ain't coming back.
I don't think the spiders are coming back, but purple
Mm-mm.
one is it's coming back.
The purple one, that Contedious can never say it right.
And then whatever this one is over here, This one? This one's growing.
I don't know which one you talking about.
Can you see me? This one right here?
Oh, yeah, I can see it.
Whatever this is, this one's growing.
Let me go to the...
That little bitty pieces.
Yeah, this one right here.
It is.
Which one is that? That's probably that Cadidius.
This right here?
Yeah.
Because that's growing. That's doing good.
It's coming back.
Mm-hmm. The only thing that's not, the spiders just, they're like, no.
They don't care. Spiders are spiders.
Where are the spiders?
There's one spider over here. This one's all right. This one over here in the corner.
Mm-hmm.
He's still good.
Let me see this one.
This is a spider.
What about the pear plant?
Spiders.
They just died when they were being shipped.
Oh.
Man.
The pear plant, but the peace lily.
Wait, what's it called?
This is the peace lily right here, isn't it?
Postal Service.
What?
Get
This
in
one?
here.
Isn't this the peace lily? I got one little leaf sticking up.
No, that's a wandering Jew.
I don't have no peace lily.
It is. It's a small plant.
Yo.
It's small.
Yo.
Is it this one that looks like mint?
Yo.
Let me stick it. Let me see it. No, yeah, that could be it. I can't see it from here.
It's a little bitty one. It looks like.
No, that's that. That's that. Cadidius. The peace lily is a little small one.
I don't think it made it.
It probably didn't make it. They hard to ship.
I don't think it made it.
The cold probably got to it.
Who got that for you?
You brought that one.
Are you going to plant those little purple flowers that are on it?
I think that they've been doing it too long.
Bottom on that tank.
What's that?
You went rock bottom on that tank. No gravel.
Nope.
No more sand.
That's pretty.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It's been a long work in progress. And it is very, very difficult to keep, like, completely clean.
Stop it.
Very, very difficult without having, like, any kind of gravel or sand.
Everything is put away in there. Rayon. Everything is put away. Oh, don't worry about that.
Okay. Yeah, everything else is put away.
Lights off. The lights off in that living room. The lights off on the porch. Because I don't want to be knocking again.
I can't believe them pluckers have not bred.
Huh?
The pluckers I mailed him to have not bred it. Breed it. And them are breeding placcos.
Lights are out.
Got them breeding here.
There's one of those babies right there.
Yeah, I seen it stuck his head out.
Yeah. They hide underneath those rocks. That's why I was just like, I'm not gonna put any kind of gravel or sand in there because I didn't want to disturb them, you know.
I know.
Recipe messages on Daddy's phone. Recipes didn't make no sense.
Was it like jam and
No, like she called herself trying to give me a recipe on how to make dressing. She said,
No, she didn't.
what'd she say? Get you a box of Jiffy. What'd she say? Get you a box of Jiffy, a package of Pillsbury. I don't even know what Pillsbury she was talking about. And she said some cream of celery.
Huh?
That's not how you
and some
make dressing.
celery and bell peppers, and mix all that up together. And that's the dressing me and your daddy ate every year. I'm like, woman, your daddy didn't eat that. Your daddy didn't eat none of that. I guarantee you he wasn't eating that.
It didn't even sound nasty.
Maybe he would put it on his plate and then he would give it to the dog.
Don't I want to eat that.
What are you talking about? This is Poppy. Would he have put that on his plate?
No.
Was he polite?
No.
Did he pretend to like something?
No.
He'd have been like, what is this shit?
Yeah, he would have started cursing and screaming.
What was the other recipe that she told me? Oh, she told me she wanted to tell me how to make chicken and dumplings. She said, you get you some flour. And no, it wasn't flour. No, it wasn't flour. No. Get you some biscuits and some water and some chicken and some onions and put you some parsley in there. And you bring that to a boil. And that's some really good chicken and dumplings.
Wait.
Some water, cut some biscuits up, put some parsley in there, and that's some really good chicken and dumplings that me and your daddy ate all the time. Woman, if you don't quit calling me, don't call me no more.
That's not chicken and dumplings.
Do not call me no more.
So like,
I just want to give you some. Those are not my daddy's recipes. What you
Is he one of Poppy's girlfriends or something? I mean,
she's the little Hispanic lady who was married that was in a little white car. He used to just come and park in the yard. Her, the crazy woman.
She know how to murder some food, don't she?
Like it was a party or something. Like she owned this place. So like, you don't live here. Goodbye.
Well, I don't want to hear no more.
She was crazy.
Like
crazy.
You do not pay the bills in this house. Leave.
Crazy.
Big Flacco.
Yeah, you need to start breeding those guys, man.
The big ones?
Oh yeah.
I am done with big Placos.
You'll make so much money off those guys, and especially
No
those.
way.
Those are the South End ones. The one that I got's the South End.
I don't know. You'd have to ask him.
What's that?
My daughter wants to know what kind of fish that gray one is.
Well, there's quite a few gray ones.
This one is right toward the front. He just shot out the screen now.
Let's see. They're all African cichlids. They're just different varieties.
So they're cichlid.
Yeah.
You hear me? Called a cichlid. I think that one's pretty. I like that blue one.
They done grew since the last time we seen them.
Oh yeah, they're huge now, man.
They were little.
Okay, go to bed, blue. You too. Why do you have my strainer thing? What you doing? Go put that back.
It's on my face.
No, go put that back. That's why it took forever to find my stuff today, because you got dishes in your room.
Oh. I don't hear the man. What, you done put him asleep?
This guy here is my favorite.
Boona? Oh, I'm wrong.
Blue one? Yeah.
Ain't that the name of him?
It's oh man, I can't even remember.
I think Kevin liked those.
Yeah, Kevin really did like this one. He liked this one, and the German red right here. That's the one I told you that got beat up.
Quit!
The female.
Kick him out of there.
Yeah. He liked that one, the blue one, and this red peacock here that's got a little bit of a blue shadow to it. Oh, no, I'm sorry, this OB over here. I don't know if you guys can see that one really well.
Over there by the filter.
Yeah,
Um,
that OB is pretty. It's gorgeous, man.
yeah. I got a 19-inch monitor now.
Oh, awesome.
My neighbor sold me his old computer last week. 'Cause my internet kept on going out.
Oh, that sucks, man. That's super annoying.
The internet on it wasn't. I went and got another modem. I said, forget it. Something wrong with
Yeah.
the top. I guess the connection inside there wasn't connected. That time I would be streaming, it shut off.
Yeah, that's the actual internet.
No, it was inside the laptop.
Oh, really?
It was inside of the desktop was causing it.
Oh, man.
That's what kept happening to mine today. And then when I came in here in my room and turned my computer back on, Microsoft had done some kind of big old update, and I think that's what was doing it.
If you was in your kitchen, it was messing all up.
Yeah, because it just kept turning the internet off. I'm like, what's going on?
Last night she was trying to stream, and her picture was horrible. I'm like, she never have a horrible picture.
Because I'm always hardwired connected.
Yeah.
But I was, using Wi-Fi, so. And then the Wi-Fi was acting crazy.
Because you never use Wi-Fi.
No, they can have a big difference.
But I mean, I did last year when I did my Thanksgiving and my Christmas stuff. But
Yeah.
I did Wi-Fi from my computer. But if my computer is sitting here and it was trying to update or whatever it was doing, I think that's what the problem was.
Yeah.
Neither one of you call anybody any kind of name. Just go in there and go to sleep.
At 11:22 at night, they're going to go to sleep. You done fell and bump your head.
I'm about to go fall and bump their heads.
You done fell and bump your head. She's going to take the Wii from them in a minute. Oh, they don't got the Wii.
Yeah, even have they tore up. They broke the wire again.
Huh?
Find another one. That's the third one I done bought.
Oh well, they better go down there and ask Papa for some money. Go get a wire there.
I won't let him give it to him. Get their room clean. He was giving them money for us to go to Fright Fest for the birthday. He was going to give them money for us to go to the Holiday Fest for Christmas. Nope. All that money's just going to sit there and wait until they go ahead and do what they're supposed to do.
That money should be in the bank. They be rich before they get grown.
Oh, they got plenty of money in the bank already.
They have tons of money because when they clean up that room.
I think that's good, though. You're kind of teaching them responsibility there.
I'm just waiting for her to go in there and throw everything out.
I did that already before.
It's past due again.
I know. I ain't gonna rebuy it next time though. They just gonna be some toy not having children's. Like my Rudolph.
No, Rudolph. What are you into? I meant to ask her, what has she got herself into? She should have been in that kitchen for too long today.
No, I came in here and they kept putting them guinea pigs. You saw them keep putting the guinea pigs on me. They kept putting the guinea pigs on me until the guinea pig peed on me.
Oh my gosh.
So now my stuff is in the wash machine. Or in the dryer. It's in the dryer now.
I still didn't. It was no outfit in there. I said, I was in the room. I said I could find outfit shit. Like I looked in that out. I didn't see one outfit that I know she would like.
I saw one.
I didn't see nothing, and I looked.
I saw one. I ain't say nothing.
I looked. It must have been one that was that I didn't pay attention to, or it didn't pass my interest. It must have been a horrible color.
No.
It was one my mind wanted to just say yeah, but then my mind said no. I think it
Can
was
I have
purple.
my step out the dryer, please? I'm talking around here. My step out of the dryer.
We was in here doing my what were we doing earlier? Oh, going through looking through magazines.
Don't get into bed with it. Oh, you gotta take this glass back to the kitchen.
I can't even find the magazine no more. Here we go. Let's see which one which one caught my one I say she'll like. I bet I can find it. When was I right about it?
Here you go. Take that. Those are Charles' pants. Take that glass back to the kitchen so it don't. So it don't fall and get burnt.
We love pants.
I bet I won't find it. The one I thought was.
It's her peanut butter and her banana. Please leave me alone. Did you want some peanut butter?
No, peanut butter is not.
Exactly. So why are you bothered by her peanut butter?
I'll take peanut butter. I love peanut butter. Crunchy peanut butter though. It can't be creamy.
You don't have crunchy. It's got regular.
Ah man, okay, I'll pass.
You got some regular Peter Pan and she's in there with it with a banana. He was trying to get my celery today. He's like, where's the peanut butter? Where's the peanut butter? I was like, what's wrong with her? What's the celery? I'm like, I need this celery. We had plans for my celery. But she was really searching. I'm like, the sandwich? What you doing? She was plotting for celery. What is this sticky stuff? Oh, that's the cranberry sauce.
That stuff melts.
Mm-hmm. She left it sitting on the bed and then she tilted it. So there's cranberry sauce and juice on my pumpkin.
Our birthday is in 32 minutes.
Whose birthday in 32 minutes?
Mine.
Ew. Happy almost birthday.
Well, thank you. I'm not really looking forward to it.
Well, if you was over here, your birthday would be now. It's 12:30.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's 11:28 here.
11:29 here. All right. Changing my guinea pig people shit.
She got guinea pigs. And I bet that plant pipes. That's my food over there. She won't give it to me.
They were peeking at it today when they had me holding. You done with people? Close it good.
It was purple shirt I know she would be interested in. And I can't even find it no more.
That creamy.
I always get you creamy. You want me to buy crunchy? Got peanuts in it. Chunks of peanuts.
Oh, lost my camera again.
Oh.
Next time I'll buy you crunchy. You gonna hurt me? No, put them in here. You put meat on the sheet. I swear, mattresses are so thick. It's extra work trying to put a heat on the bed.
It's Black Friday. I wonder how many idiots is at Walmart.
Yep.
And big Best Buy sitting there waiting for the doors to open up.
I'm
Camping
sure
out.
already open.
But they don't gotta stand outside at Walmart. They let them in. Walmart's 24 hours.
Oh yeah,
Outside.
Yeah.
that's at Best Buy.
Mm-hmm.
Pros.
Yeah.
At
People
Walmart,
like
they just stand right there and
outside.
wait for them to cut the plastic off.
Yeah. And yeah, people like waiting outside on the sidewalk and tents and whatnot. That stuff's crazy.
Uh-huh.
I couldn't do anything like that. I couldn't thankful over people just to get like a new TV or computer or phone or whatever they're gonna try to get, you know. There's no sense in it, in my opinion. There is a new fish store that opened in my area though that
No!
Oh, I know this.
they're doing a Black Friday sale tomorrow.
You going?
Yeah, I'm gonna stop by there and grab some food for my cichlid.
Mommy,
Hey, Priscilla.
what's
Crazy people.
the
I'm about to run out of that North Bend, man. It's coming close.
sideways or
Oh.
eat?
That stuff is expensive. It's good food, but it's expensive. You're talking like $30 a bag on Amazon. Yeah.
Why?
At North End that much?
It's around that price. I don't remember
Hear about it.
exactly how much it is, but I want to say it was around $30 a bag on Amazon.
This part.
I got the regular cichlid, I got the krill, and I got the veggie.
It's
And
not stretching.
yeah, man, it cost me probably about $50-$60 for all three. That's a pretty penny for some fish food.
That's too much.
I was like, my fish better be holding their pinkies out while they're swimming.
They better start breeding for that much money.
Yeah.
So hot in this doggone reindeer thing.
You take that reindeer outfit off, yeah. I know she gonna be stripping.
I feel like I just got plastic surgery. And I got
Here,
Botox
put the sheet.
put in my face.
Put the sheet back.
Yeah, what I need to do is I need to get me I need sponge filter. That's what I need to do. But I need a bigger sponge filter for my 55. That's what I
They
need.
got that sale. No, you gotta grab some.
Yeah, I got it, man. Gotta grab one of those and some food and what else they got going on.
There is an echo. I can't hear it at all.
Stop.
Go to bed.
I like it.
You are so extra.
Now, if there's an echo, it's probably me because I got a headset on and it's Bluetooth, so that's probably me. I apologize for that. But I got a child sleeping in the other room, so I'm trying to be quiet.
You don't need to wake him up.
Right.
And I.
Good night, goofball. Good night, goofball.
I'm not a good ball. I didn't tie pants to my face.
You're still a goofball. Turn my light off. Oh, it's hot.
Turn everything hot off. Want it up to
Now I gotta take everything hot off.
That girl stick to her like potty grip.
A little bit, but everything
I haven't been on in a while. How's
I know.
you still stream with Eric and all them? Or?
Eric went to right in the desert this week. Since last week, he went out to the desert.
Oh, was he like riding 4-wheelers or something?
Yeah, he got 4-wheelers and all that type of stuff.
Oh, that's awesome, man. Sounds fun.
That's what Eric liked. He got that camper up and got it filled the tank up, and he went out there. I forgot what he said. What desert he was going to?
Yeah, well, that's awesome. You heard from like Matt or Joseph or any of them?
Yeah. Matt, Kevin.
Yeah.
Who else?
stop jumping.
Joseph, Captain Savage.
Right now, Captain Savage is streaming.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, Brian's streaming. He was on the stream Sunday night.
Oh man, it's hard to keep up.
You be so busy.
Yeah, man, I know. Right now, I am. It's just I've got a full-time job going on. I'm trying to keep the family together and whatnot, and then on top of that, I got college too. So it's a lot altogether. And then that's not mentioning taking care of the fish too. So
Gotta do them water changes.
well, yeah. So water changes aren't too bad. It kind of sucks because I've got just 5-gallon buckets that I do right now, but it still works. It's not anything ridiculous. It takes me maybe like 20 minutes or so. But I don't have a Python or anything, unfortunately.
Thought you had a Python.
I wish I did. I haven't gotten one. Maybe that's what I should do for tomorrow if it's on sale. Maybe I should just get me one of those.
50-footer.
Yeah, seriously. Make life so much easier.
I can't live without a Python. I can't imagine Priscilla without a Python. Lord, she'd be in trouble. Can you imagine her without a Python in her fish room?
Yeah, no, I couldn't.
She'd be hauling water back and forth.
Yeah, that's what I do, man. And it's a lot, especially whenever it comes to that 55-gallon. I've got to fill up. I've got 2 5-gallon buckets, and between the two, I fill them up maybe like 5 times each after I do my water change.
No, I cut that.
It's not fun, man. Having to watch a 2-year-old and then dodge him while you're carrying a 5-gallon
I
bucket
used to
full of
do
water.
water changes in a bucket, but only had 5 tanks then. That's when she had 5 tanks.
Yeah, I mean, just during 5 tanks, like no matter what the gallon of each tank was, I could. Yeah, that's a pain, man. That is a pain.
It's too much.
Yeah, I believe it.
I sit there. I love my Python.
Yeah, man, I need to get me one bad.
No way I'm gonna sit there. I'm gonna hook up the Python and do these 10 gallons in the morning. They low anyway. The bottom need to be cleaned out.
Yeah, I believe it.
Oh, there goes a albino right there.
Oh yeah.
You can barely see it.
What you got in there, guppies? Or...
Guppies.
Oh, okay.
Priscilla's guppy grass.
Yeah.
There. She sent me some guppy grass along with this shirt.
Yeah, you're almost halfway there, man. With the water.
Boat tank is almost empty. You know I need to do a water change.
Oh yeah. You're getting close.
I'm about to hook up the hose tomorrow and do it.
Hey man, that's how my 55 look.
Still alive. Yeah, it's still alive.
That's how my 55 looked earlier today. Yeah, I did a water change with it, and I probably carried 2 5-gallon buckets like 6 or 7 times, filling it back up.
I don't put fresh water in them 10-gallon tanks. I take the water out the 70. I take the little short one.
Yeah.
And pump water out the 75-gallon and put it inside that 10-gallon.
Yeah, there you go.
Because the water in the 75-gallon on top is clean anyway.
Yeah. Well, Same temperature, same water. You don't have to worry about treatment or anything.
Mm-mm. I just put all my chemicals in a 75-gallon.
There you go. That makes it a lot easier. Especially with that Python. And I've got to get me one of those.
She got a new fire swatter.
Oh, that's fancy.
She got to. You can hear what she get one. It just fry. I'm burning. She electrocuted me. Man, she can start playing tennis now. She be good at it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. She done got it down pat.
Yeah.
With the tennis.
Yeah, hitting all those flies.
Yeah. She be tearing them flies up.
Yeah.
Rayon and Shaylin.
And they're refusing to go to sleep, aren't they?
They do this every time we don't gotta go to school. They fight their sleep just like she do.
Yeah.
I don't fight my sleep. I just can't go to sleep.
See? They get it out of sleep.
No, they can go to sleep. Because once they finally fall asleep, they'll be asleep until 10, 11, 12, 1 o'clock tomorrow.
Oh, man.
No matter what, my eyes going to open at 7 a.m.
Wow.
I don't care
They
if I
real.
stay here.
They out. When they crash, they gonna be gone.
Yeah.
They gonna sleep all that time.
That's wild. I mean, this is me personally. Like, even whenever I was younger, like, 12, 13 years old, I was never able to sleep until 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Never.
Yeah.
Never. I mean, even now, I get up about, I don't know, like 6 o'clock every morning, so I can leave for 7 because I got to be to work at 8 o'clock. And yeah, even now on my days off, like on the weekends and regular days off, I just wake up at like 7:30, and boom, everything's okay. Like, I'm not even tired.
I could never understand my cousins and my friends who just really like to sleep. And they would just sleep all day long and then, get up and do one thing and then go to sleep again. And I'm like, where's the fun? I don't see what you're finding so fun about sleep. It's not fun.
Are they
How
just
is this
having,
exciting?
yeah, you just want to be like, are you just having like the most amazing dreams ever? Or, like, what's really going on here? I don't understand.
Yeah, it's like I don't get it. And then my cousins, when we got even older, then they started drinking and smoking, which the drinking and smoking also made them sleepy.
Right.
So then they'd get really drunk or they'd get really high and then they'd go to sleep again. Where's the fun? I'm not understanding what y'all are doing. Like, I don't, you weren't fun before you got drunk and high, and you're still not fun now because you're still doing the exact same thing, which is going to sleep.
Right.
Like, I can go home and play a video game or do anything other than watch you sleep. Like, this is not enjoyable.
No, I completely agree with that. I mean, I personally, I'm drinking right now, but I hardly ever drink. And I don't smoke or do any kind of drugs. I smoke, to get nicotine, but that's the only kind of smoking that I do. But um, I mean, I have to be awake during the day, or else I don't feel normal. Like as soon as the sun comes up and it's hitting my face, I've got to be awake. And that's normal to me.
Yeah, it's like I don't know. When I sleep, when I get more than like 6 hours sleep, it makes me more tired.
Yeah, me too. Me too. I'm the
Like if I
exact
sleep
same way.
over, so many hours, I feel horrible.
Yeah.
Like I might as well just stayed up 4 days straight instead of sleeping that extra 2 hours. Cause man,
You feel like you ain't slept at all.
yeah, I feel like I'm about 90 years old and exhausted. It's like, oh no, I can't.
Right. I mean, I'm the same way too.
What did I do with my bubble?
And what I've always thought was funny, but's really true for me, is my most restful night sleep is when I wake up for no reason, like every hour. I have nights where I'll just keep waking up for no reason, and then I'll go back to sleep, and then I'll wake right back up, and I'll look around, and I'll go back to sleep. When I finally do wake up in the morning from those type of nights, I feel so great.
Yeah, I mean the same thing happened to me a couple nights ago. I think Haley, she woke up around like I don't know, like 3:30 or so. 'Cause she had to be at work at 5, and I have to be.
I love to sleep.
And
because I don't get to sleep ever. Priscilla don't sleep.
well, that's just crazy. You
I
gotta
don't
get
think Priscilla sleep.
You gotta get some sleep in there somewhere. Regardless if it's just a couple hours or not. Like you gotta get some.
I don't saw Priscilla sit there and draw a beta, couple of fishes, and I think she be sleepwalking. I think she sleepwalk. Cause she'll come on the stream and be dead asleep and draw a fish.
That's insane. That's insane. Cause okay, this is another thing that's just my own personal kind of preference. Preference is just like I can't take a nap during the afternoon. I can't.
Yeah, I can't either. It makes me tired.
Right. Because if I take a nap, then I'm not going to sleep that night at all. And it sucks really bad. But if I take a nap and I don't fall asleep until like let's say like midnight or 1 o'clock in the morning, and I have to wake up and go to work the next day at 6 a.m. I feel great whenever I wake up, but whenever I'm trying to go to sleep, I'm like wanting to smash my head into the wall because I'm like, please just go to sleep. Like,
I'm good for starting the stream up and falling asleep on it. You can hear and Lonnie be saying, Mark, shut the stream off and go to sleep. She called me on the phone, wake up, Mark, and shut the stream off.
Oh, man.
But the thing is, he'll keep saying, I'm not asleep.
I'm not asleep.
Right.
Yeah, you are.
You snore. You lose.
The only time I was ever able to take a nap was like when my babies were babies and they would fall asleep on me snoring, and the sound of them snoring would make me so tired that I would drift off with them while they were snoring.
Oh man. No, I mean, that's another thing too. It's like my whole family, they told me the entire time, like, hey, whenever Axe is taking a nap, you got to be taking a nap, so that way, you'll be wide awake whenever he's wide awake, kind of thing. And that it's never worked for me for some reason. Like, I can't take I can't take naps. Like he can even fall asleep. Like we have a California king bed. He can fall asleep on the other side of the bed, and I'll be wide awake the entire
Yeah,
time.
it wouldn't work if I wasn't holding him. If I just put them down for a nap and I kept moving, I wasn't going to go to sleep like that. But it was
Right.
something about if I was sitting there and I'm rocking them and I can't go anywhere else, I'm just sitting there holding them. When they would start snoring, because my baby snored.
Yeah.
So something about that snore, and I'm just stuck. I can't get up. I can't go anywhere. I'm just stuck. And every now and then, it would make me drift off with them. Just the sound of them snoring and me being stuck.
Right. I mean, Axel, he snores every now and then, but it's kind of rare. But we've got another baby on the way, so we'll see how that one is.
My youngest snored. She snored like an old man. I mean, her snore was bad. She had her tonsils and adenoids taken out last year or year before. But I mean, her snore, she had a serious snore. Like you could hear her from across the house when she was asleep.
Wow.
She had a man snore. Like she snored.
Right.
Keep everybody up.
Right.
And then my oldest, she's always snored, but hers is more of just loud breathing.
Yeah.
But the youngest, hers was an actual snore.
That's crazy.
Hey, HC.
I've not experienced that yet. Thankfully.
Yes, that's Lawrence. He finally showed up.
And after her tonsils were out, she made no noise at all for about 6
Vince.
And then the snore kind of started coming back a little bit.
But it's not as bad as it was before.
No, it's nowhere near like it was.
Well, that's a good thing. That's a good thing.
It's just kind of back to the loud breathing, like her sister does.
Right.
Which I think they both just kind of have the same bronchial asthma that I have. Because I always had asthma as a child. I still have it now. And so even when I was wide awake, people would say, "Stop snoring," because I breathed so loud.
Yeah, I mean, I was the same way whenever I was younger. I had asthma really bad, and I had to be on a breathing machine and take breathing treatments like every, I don't know, like 2 to 4 hours. And the main cause of that was because my dad, he smoked cigarettes in my house, in our house. Then on top of that, he smoked cigarettes in his car, and I rode with him mostly everywhere we went, and that really messed me up really bad. And now, thankfully, I don't have any kind of issues with that. But I mean, I look back on that and I'm just like, man, I would never do anything like that to Axel,
Yeah, that was me and my whole family. My granny, originally my granny smoked. I don't know if my papa ever smoked. By the time I was born, my papa didn't do any smoking. But my granny was a chain smoker, and she was a chain smoker until I want to say I was about 8.
Yeah.
But my dad smoked, my uncle smoked. When I was around my mom smoked too. My grandma and my grandpa smoked. I mean, everywhere I went, I was just, trapped in smoke.
Yep. Yeah, it was the same way for me. And I mean, now, like, before I smoked cigarettes, and I admitted this earlier that I'm still addicted to nicotine, but I switched to vaping and I mean, it's still not good, but at the same time, like, I don't have to worry about Axel being, like, smelling the cigarette smoke or anything like that. I don't have to worry about the cigarette smoke being stuck to my fingers or my clothing or anything. So, I mean, it's still not good, but at the same time, it's kind of an advancement from just regular cigarettes.
It's better than how it was.
Right.
Mm-hmm. My kids, for the most part, haven't had to deal with too much smoke. My mom still smokes. My stepdad smokes. But when my kids are there, they like go smoke in the bathroom, or they'll go smoke, upstairs in the bar or something like that.
Right.
They've never actually sat there right next to my kids and just had them in a pillow of smoke like I grew up in.
Right. That's a very good thing, and at the same time, it shows that they care and that they're trying to make that step forward.
Yeah.
Which is really good. And I mean, like, I would always, covered in smoke because on top of, my dad smoking in our home and my mom smoked as well, and him smoking in the vehicle, we also, my dad was a drummer and he played in a lot of, just rock bands. And whenever we would go and he would have kind of like a, just like a jam session or like a band practice of some sort, all of his bandmates would smoke, and I would be trapped in that garage, just filled with cigarette smoke.
Yeah.
And it's awful. It really is.
And they never opened windows. They didn't open doors. They just kept it all in there.
Right. Yep. That's exactly true.
Walls be all yellow.
Yep.
And sticky.
And you could go a week without smoking, and your cigarettes or your clothing would still smell like cigarettes.
Mm-hmm.
Well, now you old. It's 12 o'clock.
Oh man, you just
Happy
had to say that. I looked right at the clock whenever you said that. Man, that's insane. I'm not ready for it.
Didn't nobody called you at midnight to mess with you.
Right?
That's kind of weird.
Well, then nobody called me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised that my sister didn't call me, because that seems like something she would do. She was making me mad earlier because I was changing the water in my 55 gallon, and I was cleaning it up and whatnot, and then she sent me 15 text messages in a row, just one after another. And I was just sitting there, changing my water, and I felt my phone vibrating like nonstop, and I was like, "Oh my god, when is it gonna end?"
That's what they do.
Yeah.
My brother just sent me a message and asked me if he could come get a plate tomorrow. Yep, come on, Bubba.
Kid's mama trying to, she's probably gonna come over here tomorrow. Let's go to Catherine's. Get that sale.
They quit making me and my papa's ointment, Mark. They took that ointment that me and my papa were using, muscle rub. You can't find it anywhere.
You can't what?
Can't find it anywhere. It's not for sale anywhere.
You kidding me?
Everywhere it just says out of stock, and if you go directly to the company's website, it says nothing. Like, it's just not even listed right now.
They don't turn it off the market.
Just gone. I don't know if they're like trying to make it like something seasonal or what, but it's just gone. My papa always called me and he was like, "Order some more of that stuff," and I was like, "Oh, okay." I went. There wasn't there to be ordered.
What is that? A medication you said?
It's like a rub-on ointment. It's for like joint pain, muscle pain, and it was just called like. I gave him my last tube that I had, so I don't even have. I think it was called like, was it muscle bone rub, muscle bone and joint rub? I think is what it was called, but it was by what's the name of the company? Healthwell. It's like a homeopathic company. But yeah, we've been using it for like 2 years now. It works really, really well. Like, you know, I have 2 horribly bad knees with severe arthritis. Right. One of them's been replaced, but the pain is still there. And then I have a foot that I almost severed and had to have it reattached. So, you know, I get pain in that. I also have, you know, severe nerve damage and stuff in there too. But like when stuff is aching, you can rub that stuff on there and it actually works. Like it'll stop hurting.
Did you?
My grandfather's been using it like on his shoulders and on his back. But
did you try Amazon?
Yeah, that's normally where you get it from is Amazon. It's gone. It's completely gone. And I even went, you know, directly to their site to see if they even were saying anything about it. They act like, you know, it's just there's nothing. There's no hole. There's nothing on their direct site. It's weird.
I don't know how good it'll do, but Monday, whenever I go back to work, I'll send them a message because I work on an Amazon account at work, so I have direct contact with Amazon. So I'll shoot them a message for you and see what's going on.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Because it's so, I mean, it's just gone. It's weird, and because they do carry it at Walmart, they carry it at CVS and Walgreens. But when you go to the sites, it just says, all of them just say out of stock. And that's all it says, just out of stock.
Interesting. How long has this been going on?
I'm not sure because the last time I ordered some from us was probably 2 months ago because it comes in like a double package. So I'll buy 2 for him and 2 for me. And then it lasts quite a while. So I don't think I've ordered for probably 3 or 4 months.
Okay. No, yeah, I can.
You know, I just started looking. He called me week before last, and I started searching, and couldn't find it anywhere. I ended up buying some. There's some new stuff called BioFreeze, so I bought that.
BioFreeze ain't new.
It's new out here.
BioFreeze is old.
It's been out here for about a year. It's like taking over all the shelves.
You know, go ahead and test that out and see how it does, and then I'll get a hold of Amazon and see what's going on with that for you.
So I gave him the thing of BioFreeze, but then I gave him the rest of the, you know, muscle and joint stuff. So in case the BioFreeze didn't work for him, he can still have the stuff that does work.
Can I ask you what company supplied that?
Healthwell, Homewell. Hold on, let me see. I can pull it up and tell you.
And go ahead and tell me, so that way I'll be able to give them more of an exact answer, or more of an exact question. I'll hopefully get an answer as soon as possible.
Let me find it.
Okay.
And normally I just have a tube of it sitting here right here next to you, and I can show it to you.
You're good, no worries.
Yeah, but BioFreeze ain't new.
Okay.
Where is those albino placos at? Hiding.
Hey, Big, how many people we got watching?
There's 4.
4? Alright.
Jesse, Priscilla, me, and you.
Oh,
It's only 4 in here.
How's it going, Jesse? Haven't heard from you in a while. Hope everything's going good, man.
Nature Well.
Nature Well.
Nature Well Clinical Muscle and Joint Pain Relief.
All right, I will look that up in our system and see what I can't find out for you.
All right. I'll even show it to you. Hold on. Let me see. Can you see it?
Hold on. Yeah. $24.99. Okay, I got you. Yeah, I'll get a hold of Amazon and see what I can't find out about that. Because what I
It says
do,
currently unavailable. We don't know when or if this item will be back, and that's what every store says.
interesting. And but you can still find it, like if you go to a store.
Editing.
No, you can't find. There's none in the stores. But when you
Nothing.
look at their websites, you can see that they did carry them, and they don't know when they're going to get it back. But I've been to all the Walmarts, all the CVS's around here, Walgreens. I'm not finding it.
So
Sam's, because he used to be able to get Sam's too.
Right. So the company is called Nature Well.
Nature Well, yeah.
Okay. And what is the name of the product again?
Muscle and Joint Pain Relief Gel.
Okay.
That's like that lidocaine cream no more. People can't find the lidocaine cream no more.
I see lidocaine cream all the time. Down here.
They own, what is it? 2% and 4%. I got the 4%.
Now, I can tell you Amazon's going through a little bit of trouble right now because they had some accounts hacked. But besides that, they should be still receiving all of their freight to the facilities, the Amazon facilities. So with that being said, that item should still be in stock unless it was recalled for some reason, which I highly doubt because a lot of muscle and joint creams, that's kind of something really rare to be recalled for some kind of reason.
Right.
Like I said, I can directly get a hold of them and find out what's going on with it, and most likely be able to get it back on the market for you. I can't promise a certain time frame or anything, but I can promise that it will be back on there.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
I mean, see, my papa loves that stuff. Like, I found it that one time, he tried it, and ever since I've been buying it for him.
Yeah.
He's like, that really works. Because there's like a prescription thing that you can get, Voltaren gel.
Yeah.
And that stuff really works. But it's so hard to get a prescription for it because insurance doesn't want to pay for it.
Yeah.
And so a tube of it costs like $200 and something.
That's insane.
So since we're not going to pay for that Voltaren gel.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't pay for it either.
The Voltaren gel. It don't do nothing.
Oh, it worked for us. It worked for me and him.
It didn't do nothing for me.
It worked for me and him.
That Voltaren gel don't do nothing.
And that was before I had my knee replaced. And they gave me, like a sample tube of that Voltaren gel.
Yeah.
That's an orange tube, ain't it?
It's a white tube and it's got blue and orange writing on it.
Yeah, it didn't do nothing. It was a joke.
It worked for us. My doctor, I even have, because I couldn't get the pill, she gave me I couldn't get the tube. She gave me a pill version of it. This is Voltaren, but in a pill.
Oh, okay.
It don't work. It's nothing like rubbing the cream on.
Yeah.
But this is the exact same stuff. This is the Voltaren, but you know, in tablet form.
I might got some Voltaren cream around here somewhere. Who knows? But it didn't work for me. If I find it, I'll mail it to you.
Okay. Yeah, only one of us that could get it was my aunt because her insurance paid for it. So she would get it too, then give it to my grandfather.
It didn't work for me at all. I guess after a while, my body built a tolerance up towards stuff.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, mine does too, man. And then on top of that, I get highly addicted to things very, very easily, which really sucks.
Mm. Like the lidocaine patches.
Like, I can give an example of what happened to me. It's like, you know, probably about a year ago, I had a really, really bad panic attack, and so I went to the hospital for it whenever it happened, and you know, they gave me one pill, and they told me, you know, well, you need to see a regular doctor for this. So I was like, okay, you know, and I decided to schedule an appointment with a regular doctor. And then I went to the regular doctor and I told him everything that happened, you know, from point A to point C of what happened, you know.
Oh, it's a suspicion free in Switzerland.
The whole 9 yards of what happened. And then he didn't even test me or anything. He just prescribed me some pills. And then whenever he prescribed me those pills, I started taking them, you know, because I was like, oh, well, this is going to help me out, you know. And what happened is I ended up getting highly, highly addicted to those pills. And, yeah, the withdrawal was insane, man. But what I ended up having to do was I didn't have any contact with him or anything. I was just like, I'm done completely. I'll be just fine. I'll just deal with it in my mind, you know, because I know I can. And yeah, I withdrawed myself off those pills, and it took me probably about a month to withdraw.
To Colorado for the magic rub.
Yeah, here in Oklahoma, so I bought him some of that too.
Oh, what is that?
CBD.
Do it work?
Yeah, it works. That's what. Remember, I put the CBD in my vape. That's what's in my vape is the CBD. It does work, but he won't really use it. But I did buy him some. I don't even think he's tried it yet because he's just like, you know, it's CBD. I told him it's not going to do anything, but help.
Yeah, I mean, I'm the same way. Just because I'm nervous of it and I've never tried it before.
Mm-hmm.
So you know, I'm kind of scared because like I said, I'm kind of a highly addictive person. So whenever something like that comes along, I'm like, well, you know, I could try it, but at the same time, I don't want to try it because I can become highly addicted to it.
Mm-hmm.
Regardless of if it makes me feel a certain way or not. You know, it could just be the taste of it that I enjoy. Like, it could cause me to be highly addicted to it. It could cause me to spend more money. Like, all of those things come into effect with it.
Yeah. I know for me, I'd never tried anything until we started getting the CBD shops here.
Yeah.
And, you know, that's when they were, you know, saying they were getting ready to vote and do the marijuana and all that stuff here in Oklahoma.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know what? I want to try it to see if it would actually help because, you know, all the prescriptions and stuff that I was taking didn't work, and I was just taking them, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
And it was like, you know, if I could get one thing that actually was doing something instead of taking 9 pills that aren't doing anything, it would be great. And so I went to the CBD shop and I got just some of the oil, and you just, you know, you drop it on your tongue. And so I got it and I did the drops. And that was when my sweetie was down here visiting. And we went to, and I bought that rub too. And so I rubbed the rub on my leg, on my knee, and on my foot. And also my back, because I have a messed up back too. And then did the drops. We went to the mall. We walked the whole mall, upstairs, downstairs, all over the mall, parking lot, came back home. And I was not in pain. Like I was not about to die as I would normally be.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, this is kind of working. And I also, like I said, I have severe neuropathy. So normally I stand up on my foot. I walk around within 5 minutes. It feels like there's fire ants crawling all over me, biting me from the neuropathy.
Right.
I didn't have it. Like there was no neuropathy. I didn't get it in my knee. I didn't get it in my foot, like nothing. And so I was like, okay. So I kept, you know, doing the, you know, the 1 drop on your tongue every day, like she told me. And that was in, when did you come down here? April, May, something like that.
Yeah.
I have not taken a single prescription.
Wow.
Since then.
That's incredible.
And I was taking Neurontin 3 times a day just for the nerve damage. And then plus taking like this pill here, the Voltaren, and several other pills that I took.
Right.
I have not filled a single prescription since then. And all I do now is just the vape.
Yeah.
I put the oil in the vape, and this is all I do now. I don't even use the balm. There's no balm in here. That's been gone. I just still have the container. The last one that I bought, I gave to my grandfather. And so all I do is vape, and haven't had to get a single prescription.
That's interesting.
And it was really hilarious to me because for like 4 months, CVS was calling me every day. You want to fill these prescriptions? We haven't heard from you in a while. Are you okay? Would you like to fill these prescriptions? Like they were calling and calling and calling and calling, and I thought it was so funny.
No, I believe it. They wanted their money. No, that's kind of crazy because I vape a lot now because I don't smoke cigarettes anymore, and I vape because of that reason. But I might have to give that a shot because of my anxiety and pain related issues that I do have.
Because there's no tobacco or nicotine in my vape. I just get, juice with nothing in it. And then I just add the CBD oil to that. So I can get, some flavor, because otherwise the CBD oil, it tastes like grass and olive oil.
Interesting.
And so that's not really tasty.
No, I believe it.
So I have somewhere around here, I have some cotton candy grape vape juice with nothing in it.
And wow, Tixie Route.
There it is. I have some cotton candy vape juice, and it doesn't have anything in it, no nicotine, no nothing. And I just add that with a couple drops of
I got cherry on it.
Wow.
CBD.
Yeah, I might seriously have to give that a shot. 'Cause I've never tried it before ever.
Yeah, I hadn't either. Now that's not, that was just straight CBD. That wasn't the marijuana. It was just the CBD.
Right.
And it worked. It didn't work perfectly because I still had a little bit of pain, but it was like tolerable pain.
Right.
And that was like the first one that I bought, I think the dosage was 50. No, it was, I think it was 50. No, 100. It was 100 milligrams, I think.
Uh-huh.
And, it worked. Like I said, I walked around, I wasn't, about to die.
Right.
But then the next dosage that they had was 500. Well, the bottle that's 500 cost you $100 and something, like $120.
Oh, man. Yeah, that sounds like a lot. Just 500.
Yeah, so the first one that I bought, I think I spent like $55 on the first one. Which did work, but I still had some pain. So I was like, okay, so I'm gonna have to buy that other one, which is a lot more money.
Right.
And so that's when I was like, when they said they were gonna come, we're going marijuana legal and all that stuff. If you apply and you get the card, your insurance will actually cover your oil.
Wow.
So whenever they finally get that done, I plan on trying to get a card so that then they can cover my oil, or they'll cover you getting seeds or plants and you can make your own oil.
That's wild. So, what, if you don't mind me asking, what part of Oklahoma do you live in?
My house actually sits directly on the border of Oklahoma City and Midwest City at the same time. So I'm in two cities.
Oh, okay.
The tales of two cities.
I live in Arkansas, Northwest Arkansas.
Okay.
So, not too far from your area.
Mm-hmm. Yep, I am in both Midwest City and Oklahoma City. I consider myself Midwest City because we're right here by Tinker Air Force Base. So.
Right. I've actually I used to play in a few metal bands around here, and I've played a couple shows over in that area, actually. But that was, I don't know, like 4 or 5 years ago.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, it's really pretty cool. I think my grandfather right now is just trying to see. He's waiting to see when it all comes legal because, Oklahoma also legalized being able to buy alcohol in stores, which has, been illegal here since Prohibition. Like,
Right.
Oklahoma was a teetotal state. And so, they put alcohol in the stores, and now they also are legalizing marijuana, which for him, he's like, just waiting for all the accidents. He just knows there's going to be wrecks because people are going to be drunk because they bought liquor in a grocery store, and they're going to be high because they also got weed. And I'm like, but people have been going to the liquor store this whole time buying liquor, and they weren't drunk. So I don't know why it's going to be different because they're getting it from the grocery store.
But here's another thing interesting. So I want you to think real quick. Think about the number of wrecks that have happened within the past year of someone being drunk compared to the number of wrecks of someone being high that has happened.
I don't know any wrecks that were caused by someone high.
Right.
At all.
Right.
But he just knows there's going to be all these high and drunk wrecks. And I'm like.
And that's not that's not me saying that, being high is better than being drunk.
Right.
Anything like that. But I'm just saying that, like, there's a huge difference there.
Yeah, there is.
Completely different mindset.
Mm-hmm. But he doesn't know because, he's never done any of it. And he knows the stuff that like he's seen like my father do, because my father was a drug addict, but he doesn't understand that the drugs that my dad was doing, that he saw him under the influence of, was not marijuana. That's what my dad would tell him he was using.
Oh, okay.
But that's not what he was using. And I've told my grandfather the stuff that my dad was using, but it's just stuck in his head. You know, he kept getting in those wrecks and da-da-da-da-da because he was smoking weed. And I'm like, no.
No.
It was not weed at all. It was not weed. If he was just smoking weed, he would have been just fine.
Yeah. That's completely true.
That's not what he was doing at all. You know, but it's just stuck, you know, it's just stuck in his head. And so that's just what he thinks. And then my uncle doesn't make it any better because, you know, he'll just say the same crazy stuff too.
Right. And I think,
he doesn't believe in drinking or smoking or any of that anymore because now he's, you know, a Christian, although he still smokes cigarettes. Yeah. But he doesn't do anything else anymore. And so he's this teetotaler. So, you know, but he knows that he did smoke weed before and he wasn't, you know, driving cars recklessly.
Right.
He knows what my dad was doing and it wasn't weed. You know, but he likes to pretend and think he's keeping secrets from my papa, so he just won't know. I'm like, no, I don't keep secrets. I told him exactly what he was doing.
Right.
But even when my uncle would tell me, don't tell papa all this, he'd already know anyway.
Yeah.
I don't know who was his person who would tell him things. It wasn't one of us, but somebody would always tell him anyways, and he'd already know.
I think that's just a way of like how older people think. It's like they already know what's going on, and it surprises you because you know you gotta look at it like they've already been in that situation, so they've experienced it before. You know, so they know exactly what happened, exactly the footsteps that you're already following in. So whenever it happens and, you know, they notice it, you're like, whoa, what's going on? But at the same time, they've experienced it before. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because I mean, like when my dad died back in August. And they called us and said for me to come up there and identify his body. By the time I got to the hospital, me and my uncle got up there. They were like, we don't know where his body is. We don't know what you're talking about. Who? What? Well, the computer says he's dead, but we don't know what's going on. Like, we don't know. You know, it was really weird. We're standing there like, you called us and told us to come and, you know, verify it was him. Like, why are we here? And then you're telling us you don't have him. Well, apparently the ME had come and taken his body because they wanted to test him because they had suspicions that he was on drugs. So they wanted to go in and check him and find the drugs that they thought he was on.
Right.
And so the ME, you know, when he died, they immediately snatched his body away and, you know, didn't want us to get it. But instead of just telling us that, they have us come up there and they, you know, staring at us like, we don't know what you're talking about. Like, what is going on? Why are we here? You know?
Right.
And my uncle didn't want me to tell my grandfather what the ME was looking for. And I was like, okay. But when I got to my grandfather's house, you know, and I told him, I was like, well, the ME, you know, took his body and I have to call them in the morning and try and figure out, you know, where he is or whatever, how we get him, blah, blah. And my grandpa was like, oh, okay. So you're going to call him in the morning? And I said, yeah. He's like, okay. Well, you know, they're going to check him because they want to check him for drugs. You know, I'm like, oh, okay. You already know that? Yeah. Yeah, because I'm like, my uncle's like, don't tell dad about the drugs. Don't tell him about the drugs. And I'm like, okay, I won't tell him. Well, I got there and he told me about the drugs.
Right.
There's Pam.
Hey, Pam. And then it ended up taking, what was it, 104 days before we finally got his death certificate.
Wow.
Took forever.
104 days is wild.
Mm-hmm. And then they still didn't find anything. There was no drugs in there.
Wow.
I guess they were determined to find them.
Right.
But right before he died, the only thing he did was he would smoke weed and he was drinking.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like if there's any kind of like mysterious death, like as to like, oh well, this person died randomly and we don't really know why, they automatically want to assume it's drugs. Like that's just.
Well, it wasn't random. He had congestive heart failure.
Oh, okay.
And he had been back and forth in the hospital for like the last 4 or 5 months before he finally died. He'd been in there like, twice a week he was in there. Wow. And they kept telling him he had congestive heart failure, but he didn't want to accept that as what was wrong with him. He's like, there's nothing wrong with my heart. I can't breathe. Well, you can't breathe because your heart is surrounded by fluid. That's why you can't breathe. But it didn't make sense to him. He was like, no, my heart's fine. I just can't breathe. They're not diagnosing me correctly. So he didn't want to accept what they were telling him. Mm-hmm. And they were telling him, you got to stop smoking. You got to stop drinking. And you can't be laying flat. Well, he had actually taken the mattress off his bed, put it on the ground, and the other room was laying flat down on the mattress every day. And he was just drinking and smoking. That's all he was doing, drinking, smoking, and then laying down. Mm-hmm. So he basically was just, drowning himself.
Yeah. Was he laying flat?
Like, he was laying flat, completely flat. There wasn't even a pillow on the mattress.
Wow.
He was laying completely flat.
That's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't even fall asleep like that. I mean, that's just me.
Yeah, no, he was laying completely flat on the floor. And he'd lay there all day unless somebody came by and wanted to, chit-chat with him. Then he'd go out and sit on his front porch in a chair. And that's actually where he was before he went to the hospital. He was sitting on the front porch. Somebody had come to the door. He went and sat down in the chair with them. And I guess he stopped breathing or something because they called 911. And he went to the hospital and he died about an hour later.
Man, that is brutal.
Yeah, because the people that were with them, they gave us, they closed his door, locked his door, and came over and brought the keys to me.
Man, I'm so sorry you had to experience that. That's insane.
Yeah, it was really crazy, and it was so sudden because when he went into the hospital, he called my grandfather first, and he chatted with him. Then he got off the phone with him, and he started texting my uncle and asking him what time the Sooners game was coming on or something.
Man.
And so my uncle, had responded to him and telling him what time and what channel. He had told both of them he was in the hospital.
Right.
And an hour later, he was gone.
Yeah,
and so when I called my uncle to let him know, he's like, I just finished texting him. Like, what?
Right. Oh, man, I couldn't imagine. I'm so sorry you had to experience something like that.
Yeah, but it was really weird. But yeah, he just drowned.
Yeah.
And even when I finally did get the death certificate, it says congestive heart failure, natural causes, no drugs in the system.
Right.
But they did have to put on there he did have a history of drug use, but no drugs in the system.
Wow.
It was like you just needed to put that on there just cause.
Yeah.
I guess they're trying to say, maybe the history of drug use caused the congestive heart failure. Like, okay, whatever. He had enough other stuff that was wrong with him anyway. He had cirrhosis of the liver. He had hepatitis. So any of that could have brought the congestive heart failure on.
I'm up here dozing.
You're always dozing.
You know what time it is for me?
1:40.
She got my time down now. She know what time it is.
It's only an hour difference from here.
Yeah, it's 12:39 here.
Mm-hmm.
Your clock is a minute slow.
I'm looking at the clock on my stove, so I'd believe it.
It's the minute behind.
Yeah.
Y'all are eating late.
Man, I don't want to be my birthday already. That's crazy. I'm just gonna keep drinking and pretend it's not my birthday.
He done turned 50 years old.
That's how I feel. But I'm not there. Not yet.
I'm 51.
Yeah, no, I'm only 26 today.
See, so that birthday doesn't even matter.
Nope.
You're
Not at
super
all.
young.
If you hear old Pam, man, she have a heart attack. She's called me a baby.
'Cause I'm 41. A sugaring service. No.
Well, if it makes you feel any better, you're about the same age as my parents.
Me or Mark?
Whoever said they were 41.
I'm 41.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, my mom's 41 and my dad's maybe 43, 44, something like that.
That's all my parents was when they had me.
Yeah, they had you pretty young.
Yeah, my mom was 13, 14, maybe 15 at the oldest, whatever she had me.
Yes. In my family, I waited really late to have my kids because I was 28 when I had my oldest.
Oh, okay.
And then I had my youngest 4 years later. And people in my family, they started having kids. All my cousins had kids when they were 12, 13, 14, 15, 16.
Oh my God, I could not imagine.
So me being 27, 28, they had decided that I was gay.
Like,
I was never going to have kids because I was gay.
Right.
So when I ended up, married and pregnant, they were like, "You like men?"
What? You pregnant? Shut up.
Oh my God. No, I had I was with a lot of girls before I was with Haley, and then I got with Haley, and she got pregnant, and I was 24 whenever we had Axel, and you know, my family, they were kind of shocked, but at the same time they were really happy, you know. But at the same time with that, like my mom was, 14 or 15, and my dad was maybe 17 or 18 whenever I
Mm-hmm.
was born. You know, so it was like a huge
Yeah.
difference. So like, instead of them being worried of like, oh well, you're not gonna be able to take care of it or that kind of thing, they're just like, oh my God, we're so excited, like.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, my mom turned 18 exactly 1 month before I was born, and my dad turned 19 the day
Mm,
before I was born.
wow.
And my family, my whole life, always, put it on me that I was going to have kids before I was 18 and I
Right,
wasn't going to
right.
finish school. And, whatever my parents did, that's what they said I was going to do.
Mm,
So I said it in my head, you're not going to tell me what I'm going to be just because of what they did. I don't have to do what they did. So I made sure I didn't do what they did at all.
You
right.
did the
I mean,
opposite.
Yep.
I mean,
I went to school. I was a virgin until I was 27 when I got married. Like, forget y'all.
yeah, that's crazy because I mean, this is how it was for me. So whenever I was growing up, my dad, he was a hardcore drug addict, so he wasn't around as much. And my mom, she left me whenever I was like 4 or 5 years old. So I didn't even really know my mom until I was like maybe 13 or 14. But anyway, I lived with my grandparents on my dad's side, and they always treated me like, oh well, you're going to be perfect, you're going to do this, you're going to succeed, you're going to do whatever, and so I mean, with that, I kind of felt like my entire life I kind of lived like beyond my means just because of being grown up in that situation. And
Mm-hmm.
the past couple of years, I've got to admit, it's been very, very rough since I've had Axel, and I've been trying to keep things like perfect, just because whenever you have a kid, you want them to, their life to be better than your life
Right.
was, and that's hard for people to believe unless they've had kids. And with that being said, trying to hold everything together while making their life perfect is so difficult. Like,
Mm-hmm.
people do not understand how difficult it really is, and especially whenever you go through those instances where like, oh well, I'm doing really good at this job, and then all of a sudden, oh well, you get laid off, and then you have to go to this job where you're not making near as much as you were as the job before, and then all of a sudden you get dropped off at that job and you have to move. You know what I mean? Like, you have to keep going and keep going and keep pushing yourself. Like, it's so difficult to keep pushing yourself to move forward whenever that motivation, it was there before, because you grew up with like thinking like, oh well, everything's perfect, you are the perfect child, everything's going to be okay. But yet that mindset isn't there anymore whenever you keep failing time after time after time again, and you have to keep pushing yourself to keep going forward. And that's it's so difficult to try to find motivation within that, you
Mm-hmm.
know. And that's what I've been going through lately, and that's why I haven't had the time to like post videos or continue with what I've done in the past because of that. Because I constantly like I look at directions of how I can better myself.
Yeah, with I was raised by my dad's parents also. That's why I'm here in Oklahoma right now, because I'm here to take care of my papa. He'll be 90 years old in May.
Right.
And so I just I don't know how to explain it. I was raised by them. I knew both my mom and my dad. My dad lived with my parents. So,
Right.
you know, I was always around him, but, you know, my dad was this, you know, big giant teenager. He was always partying, drinking, drugging, you know, women all over the place, you know, so, you know, I saw all the stuff that he was doing, you know, and I was like, I don't like this.
Right.
So I always knew it was stuff that I didn't, you know, want to do because I, you know, he'd have me just sit there and watch him, and I'd watch him and his friends, and you know, the stuff that he did to women, and you know, just watching him taught me the stuff that I didn't want to be around and didn't
Right.
want to deal with, you know. So at the same time that it was irritating to, you know, that he was, you know, on drugs and all that stuff, but at the same time it taught me a lot.
Yeah.
You know, because you know, it kind of made me who I am. And then when I'd go and visit my mom, well, she was an alcoholic, and then her parents were also both alcoholics. So I got to see, you know, how, you know, people that were alcoholics, you know, reacted and things were happening, and I didn't like that either.
Right.
And so I knew that was stuff that I didn't want to do either. So, you know, it all kind of made me who I was, who I am now.
Yeah. I mean, I can completely agree with that because, like I said, I mean, my dad, he was a hardcore druggie. Like, he would even have me, like, after I got my license, he would have me drive him to his drug dealer to get ice for him to smoke in my car on the way back home. And
Mm.
he would get so messed up that like he was like puking in the passenger seat, just hit after hit after hit after hit. And I was just like, dude, when are you gonna stop? Like, it was just ridiculous, you know. And then my mom, my mom was like hardcore alcoholic. Like, I mean, like slamming drink after drink after drink every single night until the night whenever she ended up getting so drunk that she passed out on her back, and she puked in her sleep, and she swallowed her puke and it went back into her lungs, and
Mm-hmm.
it filled up both of her lungs completely. She had to be air vac out of her house and then sent to the hospital immediately. And the doctor literally called our house, and whenever he was on the phone, like I answered the phone, and literally the thing he told me, like I just started crying immediately because he told me, he was like, your mom is not going to live. Like, she is not going to survive at all. So I just broke down in complete tears because of that, right? Because like that's your mom, you know,
Right.
it's not okay. So anyway, that ended up happening, and then somehow some miracle happened, and like a month later she came out of that coma and ended up being okay. Like,
Mm.
nothing ever happened. And I was so thankful for that. But I mean, I've experienced exactly what you're talking about, and I mean, it's just, it's mind blowing, and it's kind of ridiculous because I'm drinking right now, but I'm not bringing myself to that point to where I
Right.
can't handle it, you know.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And I think that's what's most important, is just knowing your boundaries within whatever you're doing, you
Mm-hmm.
know.
Right. Exactly. And that's the same thing with me. Like you said, you're highly addictive. Well, I'm sure I am too, since both of my parents were addicts.
Right.
But I never let myself use anything. Like, I just didn't, because that's not the road that I ever want to go down.
Right.
So it's like, I'm sure I am. I'm sure if I got, started taking some stuff, and I'm sure it would just, be like, hey, that's wonderful.
Right. Yes,
But
I mean,
just from the stuff that I would see, other people doing, their reactions to stuff, it just never even interested me, because I was like, well, sleeping isn't fun. I can
right.
eat without doing something else first. I can eat. So that's not, I don't see the benefit in that, I don't want to be loud and angry, because that's how my dad got. When he got either high or drunk or whatever, he'd get angry and mean and crazy and lose his mind. But I wasn't interested in doing that either. So like, none of the reactions that I saw people having to anything ever seemed like, ooh, let's try that.
Yeah, I mean, that's the same way with me. I don't get me wrong. Like, I enjoy drinking, but I don't ever want to put myself beyond that point to where I can't control myself. I've done it in the past, even after like my mom had that experience. I've done it in the past, and just from other people's reactions from me having that kind of experience in the past, that's drawn me back.
I'm back.
Whoa, I don't want to have that happen. Like, that's not something that I don't want to be, that kind of a person.
Mm-hmm. Stop that.
What did I do?
Not you, David. They're over there attacking each other. They were rumbling at each other, and they started trying to climb all over each other, fighting.
That's all I did. Come in the bedroom. Get off that hip.
All right, so
He's snoring in about 3 minutes.
I gotta ask you guys a question real quick. Me and my fiance, we have a thing going. So I've been telling her. I told her, last time that cause she's been wanting a girl really bad. Axel's a boy and he's our only child, but she's pregnant now. So I kept telling her that I can only have boys. So what do you guys think that we'll have? Just out of curiosity.
Mm-hmm.
I want to know some opinions.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll tell you, out of most of my family trees, how everything's been. So my mom had 2 boys and 2 girls. My grandmother had 4 boys and 1 girl. So Haley, she came up from a family, she just has a sister. That's it. But her grandparents, they had 2 boys and 1 girl.
But what about your dad's side of the family?
My dad's side of the family, so my grandmother on my dad's side of the family had 4 boys and 1 girl.
And your dad?
My dad had 2 girls and 1 boy, which was, obviously me.
Because, the man chooses the sex of the baby.
Right.
So you'd want to look at what the men in the family are producing. So if your dad was making mostly girls, you might mostly make girls.
So you think our next baby is going to be a girl?
Might be.
I don't know. Is he evil or is he nice?
Right now?
Yeah.
She seems to be being pretty nice, she right now she's craving like bloody steaks, like hardcore bloody steaks. The fact that like yesterday we went and bought steaks and I made them like almost blue rare. They're so rare, and she ate like every last bit of them.
When she was pregnant with Axel, what did she crave when she was pregnant with him?
What she craved like spicy food and potatoes for the most part. But this pregnancy is different because she's craving meat, more raw meat, and then on top of that, she's having a lot of pain, which she didn't really experience with Axel.
Yeah, every pregnancy is different. My first pregnancy was amazing. I had no problems. It felt great. I felt great. Everything was wonderful. My second pregnancy, everything was bad.
Yeah.
I was in horrible pain. I had too much of the hormone that loosens your joints. So every time I would move, pieces of my body would dislocate. It was just horrible. I couldn't eat food. Everything made me sick. And then finally, I figured out the only things that I could eat was extremely spicy food, spicy candy, and I could drink grapefruit juice.
Interesting.
I mean, I was just pregnant with the craziest baby in the world.
So that's why that girl eat all them sweets.
So let me tell you. Okay, so my mom, she's from Louisiana. So I'm very, very Cajun. I love spice. Everything. Like everything I eat, it has to have meat and it has to have some like a lot of spice to it. Because I'm just used to that. That's just how I was growing up. So
I put my heat blanket on.
whenever she was having Axel, she experienced that too. But now she's experiencing, the pains, craving raw meat, and yeah, it's very, and she's also nauseous, way more nauseous than she was with Axel, which is very strange to me because, my mom, whenever she wasn't near as nauseous as Haley is feeling. It's not. She's not to the point where she's like puking, but it's like to the point where if she has hiccups, she's like having having it to where she kind of like has a little bit of a backlash in her mouth.
Yeah.
Do Axel like being around her or not?
Oh, Axel loves being around her, regardless.
That's his mommy, so you can't go by that. You have to go by somebody else's baby.
Yeah. And then going by other people's babies too, because this past day was Thanksgiving, we went over to my mom's and my little half sister, she's maybe 17, 18, something like that. She's got a little baby boy, and he didn't mind being around Haley at all. And then on top of that, I've noticed this with animals is that whenever a female is pregnant, the animal is very, very protective over that female, which is very interesting to me. Like that's crazy, but it's like they can sense it, like they know what's going on.
Yeah, they can. Yeah.
She having a girl.
You think so?
Yeah, if he around her, she must be having a girl. Cause most of the time he sticks to you like potty grip.
No, that is true, man. That is very true. And I mean, he's still like that, but at the same time, he'll act like Haley is his mom. But I mean, he's been more attractive to her recently than me because, for example, yesterday whenever I came home from work, I got off early, you know, and Haley, she was holding on to Axel, and she was like, "Oh, hey, look who's here! Look who's coming in the door!" You know, and Axel, he just sat there and he was like, "Huh, huh, huh," you know, like, "What's going on? What's happening? What's happening?" And you know, he just sat there instead of like getting up and running towards me like he usually does. He just sat there.
What?
Yeah,
I ain't like him.
I know.
Lord. He rushed the ground you walk on.
I know.
You come around, she don't exist no more.
Right? So you guys are saying it's a girl.
I think it's a girl.
I think it might be a girl.
I mean, like I said before, I told Haley I could only have girls, but I mean only have boys. But at the same time, I don't matter. It doesn't matter to me what the gender is. So I mean, I'm perfectly okay with whatever happens. But I
Well, if
prefer.
it's a girl or a boy, it's gonna be your fault. So you gotta be happy because it's your fault.
Right.
Because women only carry female eggs.
That's only the truth.
That's all we make is female. So if you want it to be male, you gotta make the male.
I'm perfectly fine with it being female because I mean, what better chances? Because Haley and I have already decided we're gonna have 2 kids and that's it. So what better options would there be between just one boy and one girl? You know what I mean? Like,
All right. Yeah, I always said I wanted 3 kids. I wanted 2 girls and a boy.
uh-huh.
But I was hoping that like my first would have been twins. And then I didn't end up with twins.
Yeah.
And then my second pregnancy was a girl, and then it was such a horrible pregnancy. I was like, nope, I think I'm good. I'm pretty good. Right.
So you're telling me that having a girl was a horrible pregnancy, but having a boy wasn't near as bad.
I only have girls. I had both girls.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, both of my kids were girls. Just one was a really good pregnancy, and then one was a really horrible pregnancy.
Okay.
So it didn't have anything to do with it being a girl or a boy.
Okay.
It was just, 2 different pregnancies that wanted to be completely different.
So can I ask you kind of a weird question real quick?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so with your second pregnancy, did you have a lot of pain in the left side of your tummy?
No, I didn't really have pains in my stomach so much as in my hips and my back.
Okay.
That was more, other than nausea. Like the nausea was just everywhere.
Yeah.
And, the cramping from, if I tried to eat something and she was like, no, we're not eating that today. That was everywhere. But just the pains that I had, it was like in my hips and my back. And then I had the extreme dizziness. I mean, the dizziness would be so bad. Sometimes I would just be standing up and I'd be perfectly fine. Then all of a sudden it would just hit me and it would be so bad. It would have me swaying on my feet and I would just need to sit. Like wherever I was, I just have to sit down.
Yeah, that's what she has been experiencing. That's what she experienced today. She had to work part of the day earlier, and she told me she had such a bad headache that she had to sit down. Like it was so bad that the only thing that could help it was for her to sit down for a minute.
Yeah, and that's how mine was. And I was I stayed extremely low on potassium. And I don't know why my potassium would just bottom out, but probably once a month I would end up in the ER with them giving me potassium.
Wow.
And I think that had something, like coincided with like the dizziness and stuff like that.
Right.
I don't know why. Like, I mean, well, true, I wasn't eating for quite a while because she wouldn't let me eat anything. So I finally figured out I could do hot, spicy, and sour. But even afterwards, that potassium just bottoming out, it just kept happening.
So did your iron level stay pretty equivalent?
No, with her is when my iron started being bad. Because with her is when I found out that I actually was born with a condition. I have thalassemia, which I never knew I had it. Because apparently I was born with 2 different genetic diseases of the blood. And the 2 that I had, up until my pregnancy with her, they like worked together with each other. So they kept them balanced out. So up until then, I always had extremely high iron. Like my iron was great.
Right.
Anytime I went somewhere and they would test your iron, trying to get you to give blood, they'd be like, "Oh yes, your iron's great," and they, take blood. Because I guess it was because of whatever the 2s. It's like I had, I have thalassemia, and then I have HC something. I don't know what the other one was called, but it like at that time it like made it like balance. But my pregnancy with her, something about her genes, being in there at the same time as my genes, it knocked them, and the thalassemia took over and my iron dropped, just, plummeted, because thalassemia actually makes your body eat its own red blood cells.
Oh, wow.
And so I couldn't get my iron up for anything. And taking iron, I've had a stomach surgery and they took out too much of my intestine. So I also found out around that time that they took out the entire portion of my intestine that absorbs iron. So I can't even absorb iron when I'm taking it, orally.
Wow.
So my vitamins and all that stuff, it wasn't working anyway.
Right. That's insane. Well, no, yeah, I've definitely noticed that she's acting, severely different with this pregnancy, because at the same time with Axel, whenever she was pregnant with Axel, she acted like she was, very, very interested in me and whatever I was doing, but at the same time, she was very, very against what I was doing. Like she would sway, like within hours she would sway, like have mood swings, With this pregnancy, she's being very, very different. Like it's not like she's having mood swings. It's like she's constantly being on my side with things, which is very, very strange for her to do. This pregnancy is so different than what it was with Axel. It's crazy to me. It's blowing my mind. So I really want it to be a boy, but at the same time, I'm thinking it's probably going to be a girl. But
I never had mood swings or any of that with either of my pregnancy. I didn't have any mood swings at all.
Yeah.
I had my first pregnancy, I had a really heightened sense of smell.
Yeah.
So there were certain things that would just trigger, like nausea, and it was, because I could smell it.
Right.
And like the smell of fake butter, like on microwave popcorn, that would just almost knock me over. Like I couldn't stand that smell.
And dude, let me tell you. Okay, so for example, earlier today, whenever she came home from work, so Axel and I, we had some chili cheese Fritos, and we were just eating a few of them, not even a lot of them, just a few of them, and we ate them maybe an hour to maybe at the max 30 minutes before she came home from work. And the first thing that she said whenever she came home from work, she looked at me straight in the eyes and she was like, I smell chili cheese Fritos. I was like, whoa, how? Like, that's insane. We just put those up like 30 minutes to an hour ago. You know?
Mm-hmm.
Like, what is happening right now?
Yeah, I could smell everything, and then I could also like really like with my second pregnancy, my taste buds were really heightened, and so like if something was off in food, like it was seriously off if I tried it, you know.
Yeah.
And so like there was one day I was with my mom, and they had stopped and got I think it's like egg McMuffins or something from McDonald's, but the people had over toasted the muffins. And so my mom was trying to get me to eat, and I was like, I can't eat that. It's burnt. And she's like, it's not burnt. I'm like, oh, yeah, it's burnt. I can smell it from here. I can't eat that. You know, it's like, I just, you know, it's like, oh, no. You know, I could really, like, it just, the smell was heightened, but the taste was even worse.
Right. Yeah, I mean,
I remember that popcorn. I was working at Walmart when I was first pregnant, and I thought the smell was coming from the McDonald's. You have Walmarts have McDonald's in them, and so I thought that it was because I was so close to the McDonald's, and I would ask them to move me to a different register farther away from McDonald's because I couldn't deal with that smell. But then I was working, you know, and it was nighttime, so they shouldn't have been cooking anything buttery.
Right.
You know, at night, and I'm still smelling it, and I was like, what is this smell? Well, I finally realized one day when I went walking, you know, in a different direction that I normally would walk when I leave the registers, they had this big pallet of microwave popcorn sitting there, butter microwave popcorn, and that's what the smell was coming from.
Wow.
And up until then, I couldn't figure out why. I thought it was McDonald's, and they had butter in there, and it was the popcorn. I was like, "Can y'all move that pallet? It's not working for me."
Right. That's insane.
And I mean, it was so bad. It was like it had me dizzy to the point of like wanting to pass out from just smell. You know, just the smell of it.
Right.
You know, it's like I either have to go home or you got to move that popcorn.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, she was the same way because I mean, like, I think it was like maybe a couple days ago I had, you know, just one beer because I just recently bought both of these 6-packs and I drank more tonight than I have, you know, in the past forever. But anyway, I drank one beer and she was all like, "Oh no, I can't kiss you because all I can smell is the beer on your breath." And I'm like, "How?" You know, like I just finished this beer like 3 hours ago, and you're telling me that you can only smell beer. Like after I ate dinner and you know I had another drink on top of that, and she can only smell the beer on my breath. I'm like, what is happening?
It's really funny with pregnancy how different things like just get heightened. It's weird.
Yeah.
And I mean, it can get heightened to the extreme to where you could have like not even drank the beer. You open the beer and put it back in the fridge, and she could still smell the beer.
Yeah, it's like,
It's
whoa,
really
what is happening? No, that's what I'm experiencing right now. It's really crazy. But at the same time, you know, I gotta say, I'm really excited. I'm excited that I have Axel, and I'm excited that I'm about to have another baby. It's just.
How old is Axel?
Axel will be 2 on the 19th of December.
Okay.
So she just recently found out she was pregnant, like maybe like 2 or 3 days ago.
Mm-hmm.
So she's maybe, I think she said maybe 8 weeks along, if that. So this is going to be like more of a, it's going to be like a summer baby for next
Mm-hmm.
year. So I'm very very excited because Axel will be like almost 3, but he
Yeah, he'll be
won't be
almost
to that. Yeah, he won't be to that point to where like he'll grow up thinking that he is like special and like the only child kind of thing.
3.
He won't grow up experiencing that. He'll grow up thinking like, oh well, I have another sibling, so I have to share and I have to be nice.
Mm-hmm.
Like, which is awesome in my opinion because he won't ever experience, like, oh well, I'm the only child and
Right.
I get everything and I'm so special compared to everybody else. So
Yeah,
I'm,
and that's
I'm
what I had with my kids because my kids ended up being 4 years and 2 days apart.
yeah,
So my oldest had that time where she was just her. So,
right,
she has that kind of, attitude.
right. She's kind of she might seem a little stuck up, but not like severely stuck up.
Yeah.
She's not severely stuck up, but she's got a little bit of that stuck upness, like to where she's kind of like, oh, well, I'm better than you,
Yeah.
like, and that's what I'm excited about because Axel
And she has that, she doesn't have to need to share kind of thing.
right,
Whereas my youngest wants to share everything.
right,
Even to
right,
where, she can go to the store and, it's just her and she gets something just for her. She comes home, she's still going to give it to her sister. Like she's going to share. Like it's just automatic for her.
yeah,
My
and that,
oldest, no, not with her stuff. Now she's ready to share her sister's stuff,
yeah,
but her own stuff, she's like, this is mine. you know,
yeah, and I
no,
mean
fine,
like.
they bought this for me.
And that's how it was for me. My me and my only full-blooded sister were 3 years apart, and my mom always told me that whenever she first brought my sister's name, her name is Lauren, and whenever she first brought Lauren home from the hospital, she told me how I was so mean to her, and all I wanted to do was just like beat her up and just smash my uh, toy cars into her head and, be so mean to her because I felt like, you know, I was being betrayed by my own mother, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like because Axel won't be close to, he'll be close, but he won't be close enough to that age to where he'll know the difference that whenever this new baby comes in, he won't experience that. He'll kind of be like, oh well, this is accepting, because at the same time, Haley, she has other friends that have younger children. Like for example, the other day, one of her friends came over and this she has a baby girl that's maybe a year and 1 month old,
Mm-hmm.
and Axel was not mean. He wasn't like hitting her or anything, and Haley was holding on to that baby, just acting like, oh, well, you're so sweet, and Axel wasn't necessarily acting jealous or anything, he had like a moment that maybe lasted like maybe 30 and maybe 20 minutes or so where he was like, oh, this isn't right. My mom is acting like she's holding another baby, and like that maybe lasted like 20 minutes or so. But after that, he was like, oh, well, this is another baby, so I'm going to interact with it and be sweet and special to it, Like he was trying to, become friends with that other baby while Haley was still holding on to it. So that kind of gives me hopes that he won't be old enough to tell the difference. He's gonna grow up with this other baby thinking like, oh, I have a sibling. He's gonna grow up his entire life while knowing he has a sibling.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to treat it the same as he would himself, which is very, very important in my opinion, because I didn't have that as growing up. You know,
Yeah.
whenever, like I said, I was 3 whenever Lauren first came home, and then at the same time, my mom left whenever I was maybe like, I don't know, let's say 4.5, 5
Mm-hmm.
at the most. My mom left. I didn't know who my mom was until I was like maybe 13 or 14 years old.
Mm-hmm.
She had Lauren with her most of the time. So, you know, she ended up moving up to Arkansas because I was born in Houston, Texas. So was Lauren. And so what happened is my mom ended up moving up here. Lauren ended up moving in with me and my grandparents on my dad's side. And my mom was up here. Lauren and I were together at my grandparents on my dad's side. And I completely hated Lauren. Wanted nothing to do with her at all. Like I was to the point to where I would like literally punch her in the face, drop her to the ground, drag her through ant piles, you know, do everything I could to show my family that I did not want her around
Mm-hmm.
because of how bad I hated her. But it's kind of funny because now her and we interact like, oh, well, you know, this is hilarious. I think this is hilarious too. You know, we're like kind of like best friends,
Mm-hmm.
you know. But it took a lot of experience and a lot of growing to realize, like, oh, well, this is my only full-blooded sister that I actually care about,
Mm-hmm.
you know? But at the same time, it's completely different for Axel because he has me as a dad, Haley as a mom. One, I'm not a drug addict like my dad was.
Right.
I'm not an alcoholic like my mom was.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, it's a completely different playground at the same time. So I
Right.
could be completely wrong, but at the same time, I do think Axel is at a good age for him to get a sibling.
Mm-hmm.
So that way he grows up knowing that it's okay. Knowing that it's okay to share with others.
Yeah. I mean, even if you had spaced them out farther, like if they were like the same as my kids, you know, there probably would have been, you know, a little jealousy, like, you know, how my oldest has. But she actually didn't have it when she was very young. She didn't have any type of jealousy at all. Like she loved the baby. Like she had so much fun with the baby. For her, hers didn't really start kicking in until the youngest got to where she could actually, you know, talk and play and really be trying to, you know, interact and play with the, you know, the same stuff, you know, and that's when it started getting to the, you know, mine and kind of, you know, thing. But as long as she was still really little,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and she could like control what was happening, you know, where she'd be like, you know, here, we're going to play this right now and we're going to do this right now. And the youngest didn't have a, you know, a personal opinion on what to do. She was just, you know, agreeing. It
Right.
didn't really come out at all. Because, you know, they also, you know, with me, you know, they were both, you know, with me all the time. You know, they had never been, you know, given to grandparents or something like that. So they didn't have that, you know, one of them got to stay with me and one of them was given to somebody else, you know,
Right.
which is how your situation was. So yours was a little more extreme than what your kids would have been, simply because there was that kind of animosity there because, well, why did she keep her for a little bit longer and she didn't keep me?
Right.
Thing, you know what I mean?
Right.
It's like my best friend has the same type of situation. It's her and her brother, and then their mother literally took them and sat them on their father's mother's porch and just drove away and never came back.
Oh my God.
and they were 2 and 3 years old, I believe.
Mhm.
And she literally just drove away and left them on the porch. And the grandmother wasn't even home at the time. Like, she
Well-
left those babies by themselves sitting on a porch until somebody showed up at the house. And then about 2 or 3 years later,
Mhm.
she got married and she had another baby, and she kept that baby and raised her and bought her everything she wanted and da 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 da. Well, when they did live with her, she didn't give them toys. She was really mean to them. She was horrible to them, you know. And then she just left them on a porch. So for my best friend, it was years before she would accept the fact that she had a sister, before she even would talk to her real mother.
Yeah.
You know, and I mean, she was probably in college before she would really, you know, get to where she'd have a conversation and stuff like that. You know, now they're actually, you know, they're now actually kind of all really close. But,
Crazy.
you know, there was some serious animosity there just with the, you know, she gave us away.
Mhm.
Well, why'd she keep her?
Right.
You know, and so that's a whole other level that goes into it with that part.
Yeah, that's
You wouldn't have to, you know, you wouldn't have to deal with stuff at that level because that wouldn't be going on with your kids.
Mhm.
You know, just like it didn't with mine, because my kids were with me. They were both with me. They've always been with me. So that's not, you know, part of the scenario. But
Right.
you get the, you know, the little bit of, you know, I was the only kid. I don't understand why I didn't want this sister, like, you know.
Mhm.
I was just fine. But at the same time, as long as she's doing exactly what the oldest wants to do, then they're fine. They have fun.
Right. Right. Well, I'm gonna have to get off here because it's already 1:30 and I gotta go to bed. But I enjoyed it, big. What was your name again? I'm sorry.
Leilani.
Wani?
Leilani, uh-huh.
Leilani? Alright, well, it was nice talking to you. It was nice meeting you.
You
All
too.
right. I'm here.
Alright, big. Well, yeah, we'll have to do this again sometime whenever I got some free time. I apologize. You know, it's so hard for me to be able to get free time because I've got, you know, a whole family going on. I've got, you know, full-time work and full-time college. But yeah, I'll have to get on sometime again here pretty soon.
All right. Then.
All right, guys. You
Later.
guys take care.
Later.
All right. Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Good night.
Mark, I don't know how you do it with that water running all the time. I'd always go to the bathroom.
The water running.
On
It's
that
just low.
On that one tank right there, that tank is so loud. I have to go pee all the time.
Oh, that ain't containers.
It's loud containers, just running water.
This is making bubbles. I don't hear that. You don't hear it in the bedroom?
I would hear that everywhere. I have really, really good hearing though.
I don't got good hearing.
It's like I can't stand wall clocks, ticking wall clocks. I have to go find them and take them off the wall.
I do got that.
That would drive me insane. I can't deal with a ticking wall clock.
That clock go tick.
I can do a grandfather clock. I actually do great with grandfather clocks because I grew up with them. But just
Mm-hmm.
the, you know, little that drives me insane.
Uh-uh.
It's like I can hear it echoing off the wall.
I forget about it.
That's the one I cannot forget that because I just hear it and hear it and hear it. And then for whatever reason, that's like one of the few things that my body doesn't get used to and start ignoring. I just hear it. It's like being here in Oklahoma, we have the tornado siren.
Mm-hmm.
Goes off every day when they test it at noon.
Oh boy.
So, you get used to that, and I don't hear that anymore. Unless I'm actually outside at noon, then it registers.
Even in wintertime it goes off?
365.
Oh my gosh.
365, and on Saturdays it goes off even longer because Monday through Saturday it only goes off for about 30 seconds, I think. Or Sunday through Friday. On Saturday it goes off, and I think they let it go off for about 5 to 10 minutes. Like, it's a long time they blow the siren on Saturday. But
just let it go singing.
Like, I don't notice it at all unless I'm actually outside. Now, if it's not noon, then I'm going to notice it. Any other time of day, I would actually, it would register, be like, wait a minute, there's a tornado? But at noon, I never hear it. It's weird, certain stuff that bothers me. Like, you always hear me telling my kids to turn their TV down. That's because they'll put the TV on music stations, and I can't sleep with music on. I can deal with people talking on TV, but I can't do music. Like, it gets louder and louder and louder in my head. And I don't know why. I don't know why I can't, drown that out, but I can't. They're finally sleeping there. Well, maybe not. One of them still up there. Moving. Facebook, I saw my mom said my uncle invited them over to their house, to his house for Thanksgiving. And she said she didn't do any cooking. Usually when she goes over there, she does most of the cooking because my uncle doesn't cook. So maybe he catered this year.
Let's see what's going on in chat.
Nothing.
Ain't nobody here.
There's 6 people watching. That's what it says on my screen.
Mm-hmm. Think Pam is here. What are you doing, Jesse? Pam said, I ain't nobody.
You are somebody. I gotta go in here and cut up this meat and put it away.
Alright, then let you go then.
Alrighty.
Okay then.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Good night.